yet another episode of John Works Too Much. Today, we're gonna be building a shed. Got David Kanui here again. He's a rock star, yep. And we took some time this morning and we put this on a tube in. I'm gonna show you how we did that in a second. But I wanna show you a cool trick that I learned. So a lot of times you're like, I wanna taste this and make sure that the power's off. And then
I know what to do.
Oh.
Just put a kink in it, you know, like when you're out in the yard and you're
like a water hose.
Yeah, like a water hose. You put a kink in it, and it'll stop the electricity. So then you can just do whatever you want after you put a kink in it.
That's right. Oh! You are wrong about that. You are wrong about that, David Kanui.
That's what I was told.
Well, you were told wrong. Don't do that, kids. Okay, so let me show you how this works for real. What we did is this has to be able to not float away in case there's a Noah's Ark flood. And so we put sonotube in here. A lot of times I just build blocks, don't walk on it yet. It's still wet. So we put sonotube down on the ground, and I don't have any with me, but you can see what it looks like. So we bury that, level the whole thing off. We put fast setting concrete in here, and then we built a framework. Then we're gonna go to lunch, and then we're gonna come eat and come back, and then we'll frame the rest of this up. So we're super excited. You wanna talk about anything?
No. I mean, I think you just covered it all.
Yeah, it's pretty basic stuff.
It's pretty cool though. I learned a lot today.
What'd you learn?
I learned how to put this pier and beam set up.
Sonotube stuff is, yeah.
And mix the concrete, put it in, and
he was so good at mixing concrete.
Yeah, I did the dirty work.
Yep, and I did nothing as usual. But I got shocked, and that wasn't nice. Why did you lie to me?
I thought that it would work. I mean, it works on the water hose.
I mean, scientifically
works on
it
like
should.
vacuum cleaners too.
Yeah, scientifically it should work. I don't. You want to try it again? Here, you try it.
I'm not trying it.
Why not?
Because I just saw you get shocked.
So maybe it'll work there. Maybe you weren't kinking it off enough. Here, I'll
plus you stuck your tongue on it. No, COVID.
Oh. Kanui's afraid of COVID. I'm not afraid of anything. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Oh, this? Here, come on over here, Stuart. Let's just take a look here. I think that it's worth the $10 whenever you're building a deck or a shed or literally anything to get a bag of bones from the store, especially if it's near Halloween time, and then bury it. Then later on, somebody's gonna tear this thing down and be like, ah, there's a dead body, just for a second. And then they'll be like, it's plastic. But somebody might call the police, and I think that's pretty hilarious. So what else do we think is hilarious, Kanui?
Well, that this skeleton has COVID-19.
Yep, that's how it died.
And we don't.
Yeah, you're gonna, putting all that dirt on it, you're gonna get it. That's it. You're wearing a mask? The skeleton's not wearing a mask.
No, well, I've got a mask for him.
Okay, well, that's good. So, speaking of masks, at Home Depot, because I spend gazillions of dollars there, I'm per reward. So if I give my phone number, then, you know, they like give me a discount. So you can use my phone number, you can get a discount too. That's not the point of the story. So Kenny uses my phone number so he can get a discount, and they ask if you have a job name. And so he started telling them that the job name was Bouger. It's Booger. And so after a while, the girl at Mansfield Home Depot, she's like, let me guess, the job name's Booger. So every time he's like, it's Bouger. So then I started saying for my job name that it's POOP. It's P-O-O-P. And they type it in a P-O-O. And then I'm like, yep, it's poop. That's my job name is poop, because I'm an immature child in a grown man's body.
Yes, he is.
That's a true story. And Kanui laughs every time. He's like, did you tell him POOP?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna build a shed. Okay. Yeah, so we had built the walls and put the siding up. Kanui did all the hard work, and once again, I just sat underneath a tree and sipped on lemonade. I had a little umbrella hat, it was pretty cute. So now we gotta figure out how to do the pitch. And I know I've showed you this before, but just in case you haven't seen it, I'll show you again, or maybe you'll learn it again. So here, let's go down here on some paper. This is, I had my engineer figure all this stuff out. So let's imagine that this whole thing across there, that wall, right, is 24 inches. So then half of that is 62 inches from here to here, right? So then we have to figure out, well, how tall is that so we can make our pitch, right? So the way that we do that, we know that we want a 3/12 pitch. So that's that's the ratio, is 3:12. As
three is what?
So this is a 3/12 pitch, which means for every 12 units, then we're coming up 3, right? And that's what our pitch is. Okay? So that's how you figure that out. But then we don't know what our height is, right? So that's an unknown. So then we take 12 times x, we cross multiply, equals 3 times 62, which I guess is 186. And then we divide by 12 and divide by 12, which leaves you with x equals, and then we have to do some math there. So whatever that is, minus so 66. What's 12 into 66? 5. So it's going to be like 15 and something inches, right? We're going to call it 16 inches tall. So that will be 16 inches tall. And it'll be at a 312 pitch. And if we look on our square, then that'll tell us that that's whatever the degree angle is. So you want to go get my square real quick? I'll show you how to do it. We're going to learn something. I hope you guys are having a great day. Did you like our skeleton? He's underneath here. He's just waiting, patiently, so patiently waiting.
Bougere.
Yeah, his name is Bougere. Okay, so on here, if you got a pivot point, right, then that's a 312 pitch, which is a 15-degree angle. So that means that all these are going to be 15 degrees, right? So imagine if this was your board like this. If we went from our pivot point and then went down until you see 3 right there, and then come across, and that's our pitch, right? So that's how that works. Hey everybody, I took some phone calls today that I think are very important, so we didn't get very much done today. But we did obviously pour the foundation, framed up the bottom, put on the floor, subfloor, whatever, framed everything, got the siding up, and then we got this part of the roof rafters framed. We didn't finish it, but there's some stuff sticking up or whatever, but that's how that looks. Anyway, so what I want to talk to you about is a long time ago I heard a sermon, and this pastor said that a lot of times people think, or they say, the difference between a Christian and non-Christian is not that much of a difference, right? Like, if you look at them, they eat the same food and they watch the same TV shows and they go to the same sporting events and the same schools and whatever, and like, what's really different about you, right? But then he gave this example. He said, imagine that there's a rain cloud and filled with rain droplets, and this goes right over the Continental Divide, which is the highest point in the United States, right? So it's floating right over this thing, and then all of a sudden these 2 raindrops fall right next to each other, out of the same cloud, out of the same water. And they're just inches apart, and then one lands on one side of the Continental Divide, and the other one lands on the other side. At that point, you're like, what's the big deal? They're that far apart. But then as time passes, they trickle down the mountain, and they get farther and farther apart. And then they go into tributaries and streams and rivers, and eventually, if they don't get evaporated, one will end up in the Atlantic Ocean, and one ends up in the Pacific Ocean, and their destinies are very different, if you want to take that analogy. And so I've seen people through my life, and I'm sure you have too, that maybe there's 2 people that are very similar, and then one of them makes a decision to do something and the other one decides, no, I'm not going to do that. And the more time that passes, the more you see that they have very, very different destinies. And so I just want to emphasize how important it is to make small decisions, and even if you've gone too far in the other direction, it's not too late to turn back around and go the right way. So I hope you guys are having a great night. Tomorrow we're going to get this whole thing done and finished, and maybe do some other things, and I love you very much. See you later. Bye. Oh, hey there. So we got the shed done, and we got it painted and everything, and it's sturdy and tough and everything, but that's not what you guys want to hear about. What you guys want to hear about is the skeleton underneath. And yes, we did laminate a letter. It was a suicide letter. It said, it's 2020 right now. I know about Jeffrey Epstein. I definitely know some stuff about Hillary Clinton, and I did die of COVID. And that's
true story.
True story. So, Kanui, you're pretty smart, right?
Sometimes. So
I know how long a night lasts on Earth, but how long does it last on the sun?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Probably you guys should comment. There's got to be some scientific
go
person.
to the sun to find out.
So I suggested that to NASA. I said, let's go to the sun and do a mission. And they were like, it's too hot. I'm like, duh, go at night.
Good question. Or not a good question, but good statement.
It really is. I mean, NASA, seriously, get with the program. I'm trying to help you out here. What else you got?
Well, you ready?
Yes. Uh-oh, right through the window.
Did you see that? Dog's amazing.
That dog's, yeah.
It's a border collie. I learned a lot about them.
You get them at On the Border. It's off the map. It's not really true. Hey, helicopter, and goodbye, people. See you on the next one.